about 2 weeks ago, submit their notice for termination, cancellation. We implemented Super. Now, not only did they withdraw their notice, but they're also immediately asking for additional services and revenue.
My name is Heather. I'm the managing partner and co-founder of Geekly Media. We are here to talk a little bit about our agency and also about how we use Super. So I'm going to go ahead and dive on in. The long and short of it is we focus on the real estate industry. And a lot of people get into the real estate industry thinking it's going to be really glamorous. They're imagining selling Sunset and all of the fancy clothes and cars and how many houses they're going to close. In reality, when you look at what we do and who we work with, it's actually more geared toward property management companies. And as a property manager, you also go in a little blind sometimes. But at the end of the day, people figure out exactly what your job looks like. And it's a dumpster fire. It is a lot of running around, a lot of dealing with people. For every door you add to your portfolio, you're adding 2 to 4 additional humans you have to deal with. It's super fun. A lot of people get a little confused about why property managers are so easily frustrated or so stressed all the time, and this is why. Every superhero story has an origin story. This is ours, to a degree. When you look back at, Spider-Man, Batman, somebody got bit, somebody's parents died, there was a whole thing behind it that made them a superhero. For us, it was a little different. I was a property manager. My husband was a property manager. I studied rocks, by the way. My husband was a real estate attorney, and I was a petroleum geologist, and this was just a super logical next step, if you can't tell. But we opened a property management company, grew that to about 1,000 doors, ended up selling it, and this is what we do now. But our origin story, with every move-in, move-out, you're dealing with chaos. You're dealing with a lot of balls in the air, a lot of juggling, a lot of coordination and batons, and something always goes wrong. It just does. Most of the time, it's the key. That's my favorite, is when you're taking somebody to go into their new home and the key doesn't work. So, origin story, I'm taking a new family, sweet little family, mom, dad, 2 kids, everybody's excited, there's a moving truck, we're there, we're ready to move in. So I've got this key, that I'm already really stressed about. We walk up to the front door, put the key in the lock, praise Jesus, the key works, and I walk in the door and everybody's excited. I got 2 kids running around behind me. I take one step. I take my shoes off because that's what you do in a new house. One step, and all I hear and feel is squish. Because the carpets are soaked. Because somebody scheduled the carpet cleaning an hour ago. That's how this move-in went for my now very unhappy new tenants at their move-in day. So, as you can imagine, ta-da, we have PMOS. Just kidding, there was a lot that happened between that day and PMOS. But PMOS stands for Property Management Operating System, and it was derived based on the pure hell/chaos that is managing single-family residential properties and tenants. So, what does Geekly do? We create as much automation, process and marketing automation for single-family residential property management companies as we can to grow and scale their businesses through the use of HubSpot marketing and process automation. The pipelines or categories that we tend to adhere to, or at least offer in the beginning, listed here, I'm not going to read them all to you, but sales, collections, insurance, management, cancellation, new properties, you name it, we've got a pipeline for it, and we're going to automate as much as we can of it. Associated with that, we're also going to trigger ticket pipelines from these deal pipelines. This move-in that I explained, great example is that rekey and that carpet cleaning. There should have been a ticket. Somebody should have paid attention to the ticket, and they didn't because it was like 2010. Best in class versus integration. We are serial entrepreneurs. It's what we do. We start a new business and try to stick with it. We've got 3 right now. They're all going really well, so hopefully we're not going to do that anymore. But we're faced with this question about best in class versus integration. And as a serial entrepreneur, you chase shiny things. So do our clients. Everything that's new and shiny is really fun, and you want to dig in, and you want to use it as quickly as possible, except half the time it doesn't work. So we're consistently faced with this question, and 9.5 times out of 10, we're going to go with integration. We're going to go with, you need to use one tool. It's good enough, more than likely. If not, we'll tweak it and help you out down the line. But having 14 different tools, which is literally the number of logins we had as property managers, 14 different tools to do your job on a daily basis is not sustainable. So with those integrations, we are primarily focused on what we call the bridge internally. Our friends from TrueJ IHQ are here. They actually helped us develop our custom bridge. This bridge is going to bring in data from the property management systems like AppFolio, Buildium, Propertyware, Yardi, every other dirty name in the book that is a property management system. We'll integrate with it. We're also looking at Super, PandaDoc, sales message, easy texting, air call rail, call loop, all of them. They all integrate, and we utilize them to the best of our abilities to make sure that these property managers have no reason to leave HubSpot. Because if they do, guess what happens? They don't come back and finish their thought process. So staying in HubSpot is the key to getting all the way through these systems and these processes. I'm trying to hurry, I promise. I'm not going to talk about the listing hub. It's really cool. It integrates with the MLS. Moving on, case study. This is a Houston company. They had about 900 doors, about 1,700 tenants. This was our first big case study where we documented every step of the process, start to finish, and looked at the financials of it. One thing about this is, while the financials are incredibly important for sustaining a company, the other side of this equation was these people were done. They wanted out. They wanted to shut their business down, and so did all of their employees. So us stepping in not only saved the money, but it also saved the sanity, the quality of life, etc. But I'm going to go a little bit fast because this is taking forever, and I'm really sorry. At the end of the collections implementation, which is where we fully automate 100% of a collections process, this one company was able to save annually, repeated every year, between $255,000 and $309,000 in straight savings. There was, in the renewals process, again, straight savings, but also the missed renewals, because guess what? Not only was this a hard process, but they weren't doing it. So they weren't capturing the additional revenue that you renew with in the first place. So it was another $182,500. So all great things, but also they didn't quit and sell their company. So main goal. We start with blueprints. This is your Lucidchart example. We've got 5 standard blueprints that we're going to take everybody through. The goal is to establish the fact that 80% of your process is the same as everybody else's. Single-family residential property management is single-family residential property management. They don't love that. Everybody's special. Everybody's a unicorn. So we leave 20% of that for them to configure or customize to the best of our abilities to meet their needs and their processes. So we start with these blueprints, and then we dive in pipeline by pipeline. This is how we've always done it. Before Supered, we did it this way. We implemented, we managed, we maintained. But things were a little different. They didn't always go that well. They didn't get adopted very well. And long term, they just weren't utilized. So now, utilizing Supered, we're able to increase that adoption rate. This is my last slide here. I'm going to go really fast. We had a client about 2 weeks ago submit their notice for termination, cancellation, not just for us, but also for HubSpot. So we were about to lose a client altogether. We implemented Supered. Now, not only did they withdraw their notice, but they're also immediately asking for additional services and revenue for us. So long story short, not only does Supered make our lives better because we can clone all these workflows and it pays for itself that way, but now it has become a revenue-generating machine rather than a recurring subscription.
What you're seeing here, and I have to give a shout out to Steve because I want to be able to preview these before they're pushed live because I didn't know what to expect. But what you see here is the new feature with the announcements. So this will take you right over to a landing page or a video, so you're able to communicate with your clients in real time. What you're looking at here is just an example. This is the renewals pipeline, and you can see we're utilizing deal tags, and then when you get into the Supered integration, the biggest complaint from that client that was going to quit was, I don't know what happens when I move a deal. What automation happens? Is it going to send an email? Is it going to trigger a task for somebody else? And so that was one of the biggest things that we have been able to solve for using Supered. When you click into any of the deals here, we've also gone ahead and automated, so if they need to trigger something manually, a lot of times they don't know what that is. So when you go ahead and open up, you connect this to any of the properties that are within the HubSpot portal. Here you can also see, yes, you have everything required to move this deal, so go ahead and move it into the next stage, for example. So what you can see too is if they're missing information, that's also going to show up here. So what this is doing is it's really helping enforce all of those processes, required fields, required contact associations that are within the deal in order to make the renewals process actually fire correctly. So that's the long and the short of it, and I'm over by 5 seconds. So thank you very much.